Welcome to Channel News, the #1 news channel in America that presents to you only the best of the best. Here, we have the latest reports presenting the Vietnam War with our elite reporters.
Welcome to Channel 1. I am your newscaster, Fernando Alvarez.
And I'm your other newscaster, Billy Wilson. And today we're going to be covering the exciting news of the Cold War.
But most importantly, the long, costly conflict between North and South Vietnam called the Vietnam War.
So without further ado, take us away, reporter Steve, to the road to war.
Thank you, Billy, from the studio. Now we're in France in the early year of 1940s. Right now, France has control of most of the resource-rich South Asia. Right next to me is Han Chi, a Vietnamese communist. Tell me, Mr. Han Chi, why was it better that France had control over most of South Asia?
Well, many nationalist independence movements had just begun to develop, and France controlling most of South Asia didn't help at all.
And so what happened after that?
Well, in 1930, I decided that I asked to help the Communist Party, and they agreed. The Indo-Chinese Communist Party led revolts and strike against the French.
Amazing. Did your revolts and strikes prove useful against the French?
Sadly, no. 10 years ago, they tried to sentence me to death, but luckily I fled into exile, and now I'm living in this very field.
Did you hear that, folks? Mr. Han Chi is going to attempt to force the Japanese out their land. Stay tuned to find out more on Channel 01. Thank you for your time, Mr. Han Chi.
You're welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Back to the studio.
You learn something new every day, folks. Next week, we'll learn about the time Ho Chi was a chef on a French steamship. Goodbye.
Good morning, folks. We have breaking news.
The Vietnamese nationalists and communists are now in a battle with the French and hope to regain the cities they have lost.
Here is live footage coming from our reporters, currently near the intense battle.
Thank you, Billy, from the studio. And now, good morning, everybody. We are carefully observing how men fighting under Han Chi, and it seems like men could be injured. They could be resting. Unfortunately, there's been some casualties. This is truly horrifying sight. It will be the best to stop here for today. Thank you, guys. It's really dangerous for us, and we'll be back to the studio.
Yes, thank you for showing the situation at hand.
We will announce any future updates, but for the meantime, we will have to wait.
Attention viewers, it has been announced that the Vietnamese have won the war.
They won by using hit and run tactics, making the French doubt that the colony was worth their lives and money.
It was wonderful to know that Mr. Ho Chi was successful in protecting his fellow people.
That is all we have to share for today. Thank you for watching. After France's defeat, Ho Chi Minh's communist forces governed, and to the south of the United States set up an anti-communist government under the leadership of Ngo Dinh Diem.
Then, as south of Vietnam, they began to gain power and started to taking over large pieces of land. Then, a group of Vietnam assassinated their leader.
Good afternoon. We are the year of 1964, and we have special news coming from the United States.
President Lyndon Johnson has recently told the Congress that the North Vietnam has been attacking U.S. and destroying at the Gulf of Tonkin. So, the Congress authorized the president to send troops.
Today, we sent Steve to interview one of the soldiers preparing to fight with his best equipment.
Good luck.
Thanks, Billy. And yes, we're currently with a new recruit named Paul Peterson. Now tell me, Paul, can you tell me your thoughts on the upcoming war?
To be honest, I'm kind of nervous, but I have hope because we have very efficient equipment and our troops are well trained.
Can you tell me what's the president's plans for the battle?
President Johnson, he's planning for us to go on Vietnamese territory and have us bomb the North Vietnamese.
I think that is enough for now. Thank you for showing us your vital information, Mr. Peterson. And now we're going to show you guys all the airplanes and aircraft and all what we have in stock. And back to you, Billy.
We're back. The United States should be careful, don't you think?
Well, that's all we have for today. We'll be back in another time. Thank you.
Welcome back, folks. This is Channel 1, and it's 1960, which means color vision was invented. Now you can finally see the screen in red, white, and blue.
And speaking of those colors, today we have a very special news report for you. Many distratified people have begun a process against the loss of life conflict on the other side of the world.
Bowing to intense public pressure, President Nixon had to withdraw the U.S. troops from Vietnam.
That's not all. Nixon had a plan allowing the U.S. troops to pull out. While the South Vietnamese increased their combat rule, it was called Vietnamization.
To put his plan into action, Nick authorized a massive bombing campaign against North Vietnamese bases and supply routes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
He also authorized bombings in neighboring Laos and Cambodia to destroy Viet Cong hiding places.
In response to protests and pressure at home, President Nixon kept withdrawing troops. 2 years later, the North Vietnamese overran South Vietnam, and the war has ended since then.
But more than 1.5 million Vietnamese and 58 Americans lost their lives.
Now we will finally have a moment of silence for all those dead citizens and soldiers.
Hello, I'm reporter Colby, and today I'll be covering the news for today. Okay, let's see here. Despite the end of the war, the bloodshed and chaos still continues. Cambodia was under siege by communist rebels, and it was bombed by the U.S. bombers when it was used as a sanctuary for the Vietnamese and Viet Cong troops. The communist rebels had also unleashed a brutal government under Pol Pot. It was a ruthless attempt to change Cambodia into a society of communists. Over 2 million were killed in the process, but luckily the Vietnamese swooped in and put a less repressive government. Unfortunately, the war has still continued.
After 1975, the North imposed tightly controls over the South, and the officials sent thousands of re-education camps for training in communist thoughts.
Communist oppression caused 1.5 million people to flee Vietnam. About 200,000 boat people died at sea. It's a tragic loss.
The people that did escape spent months at refugee camps in Southeast Asia, and about 70,000 settled in Canada or the United States. From your newscasters and your reporters, thank you for tuning in.
This will be the final news of Channel 1.
We all hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
All right.